First up this morning, violent clashes in Sydney. Police and pro-Palestinian demonstrators facing off at a mass rally following the arrival of Israeli President Isaac Herzog for his state visit. Let's go live to Jack Hahn in Sydney. Jack, there were dozens of arrests.
There certainly were. 29 people were placed under arrest. Good morning to you. It all started really at 5 o'clock with standing and chanting. Then by 7 and 8 o'clock, things took a turn for the worst. You are seeing that play out right there. Now, in that case, you can see what started out with a man, his hands were up, and then a bike officer falls over. Then all of a sudden, these riot police come in and start punching. Look, over the course of that hour, we saw pepper spray. We saw crowds being charged at by riot police. This morning, police admit that the vision does not look good, but they stress that it's only a small snippet of a much bigger picture, a picture, they say, of violence. They say this was an unauthorised protest, one that was violent, and that they had to move in, Carl.
Thank you.
And there were similar scenes in Melbourne. Let's go live to Jack Ward, who joins us from the CBD. Jack, thousands marched across the city there.
They did, Sarah. Good morning to you. About a crowd of 5,000 gathered outside Flinders Street Station about 5 o'clock last night. They then moved up to State Library Station. And while there was plenty of anger in the crowd, we didn't see that same violence, thankfully. One arrest was made. A 20-year-old woman was handcuffed after she set 2 flags on fire and caused damage to a tram stop. In Brisbane, the crowd there were also protesting new laws which are going to be introduced to Parliament in the next week or so that are looking to outlaw phrases such as from the river to the sea. Isaac Herzog is expected to arrive in Melbourne this Thursday, although his exact movements once he does arrive are unclear, but the crowd who gathered yesterday are vowing to return. Team?
Jack, thank you.
The families of 2 Melbourne teenagers who died of methanol poisoning in Laos have spoken out after staff members who served the deadly drinks were only fined $185. The grieving families of Bianca Jones and Holly Bowles learning of the outcome of the secret court case through other poisoning victims from the UK and Denmark.
To think that the Lao authorities believe that those that were involved in killing our daughters is worth $185 is absolutely disgraceful.
Probably the best word to describe it is just disappointment.
Foreign Minister Penny Wong says Australia expects full accountability and charges should reflect the seriousness of the tragedy. Mark Jones and Sean Bowles will join us on the show after 7 a.m. Popular children's gaming platform Roblox has been put on notice by the E-Safety Commissioner. The digital playground has been ordered to prove how it is keeping children from being groomed by predators and exposed to graphic content. It could face fines of up to $50 million. It seems it's a case of not if but when. Liberal MPs are said to be preparing for a spill of the party's leadership, with Susan Lee expected to be out of the role by the end of the week and Angus Taylor poised to replace her.
I cannot speak for every one of my colleagues, and I'd be lying to you if I said that conversations weren't occurring.
I'm very, very upset about where things are. We are all very, very sad, but things do have to change.
Susan Lee maintains she will hold on as leader until the next election.
A close call for a Victorian farmer after he was attacked by a kangaroo while trying to rescue his dog. Cole was taken to hospital with multiple cuts and puncture wounds to his back and abdomen, telling 3AW he is lucky to be alive.
Given me what I can describe as a flying roundhouse to the back, and then he's jumped on me and his little gremlin hands have grabbed my head and he wouldn't let go and he's just started booting the out of me.
How was he as Cole as a name and a person? He says a friend managed to scare the kangaroo away by waving a shovel.
Let's go live to Josh Bavis in London. Josh, a concerning new development in this saga.
Yes, Sarah, this evening in London, Buckingham Palace released that statement on behalf of the King, and it's quite an extraordinary step. In it, it says that the Palace is ready to stand and help police if there is an assessment into the Epstein files. It emerged today that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor may have been sharing confidential information about trade and investment with Jeffrey Epstein when the former prince was a trade envoy back in the 2000s. And Andrew has always maintained his innocence despite his long friendship with Andrew. But every day that brings these new revelations brings more pressure on a number of officials, right from the palace even to the Prime Minister's office. And Sarah, these revelations haven't finished yet.
Josh, thank you.
Hundreds of swimmers gathered at Argentina's Mar Chiquita Lake to attempt a new Guinness World Record for the most people floating simultaneously. The lake's high salt concentration makes it an ideal venue due to its natural buoyancy. The current record, set in 2017, saw 1,941 people successfully form a massive floating chain. Relaxing.
Yeah, and we finally have some good news for coffee and tea drinkers. That's what I wanted to get straight to, Jane. Your daily caffeine fix might actually be helping your brain remember.
Isn't that interesting? A new Harvard study finding people who drink more caffeinated tea or coffee are about 10 to 20% less likely to be diagnosed with dementia. Researchers say drinking up to 2 cups of tea or a maximum of 3 coffees a day will give you the best chance of keeping the disease at bay.
Keep them coming. Let's take a look at the weather across the country now. A few showers and storms scattered across our eastern states thanks to some surface troughs. A possible shower for Brisbane and Canberra.
Sunny for Sydney and Adelaide, cloudy conditions for Melbourne and Hobart, while Perth and Darwin can also expect some rain.
A ransom deadline is approaching in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother as claims emerge that the kidnappers are demanding up to $6 million.
To discuss, we are joined by former FBI hostage negotiator Chip Macy live in New York. Chip, thanks for your time today. This whole case has been so unusual from the beginning, and authorities were yesterday at the sister's house. What would they have been looking for there?
Well, there's lots of reasons for, people to go and take a look at anything involving an investigation, especially, areas that are in close proximity to where this happened. So it could be that when they were doing interviews of family members and so forth, and they said, oh, well, I remember that she, touched this, or that there was something that she referenced before. I think it's in the house. And so there are things that investigators will follow up on. It's just a natural course of an investigation.
You worked as an FBI hostage negotiator. This process of paying a ransom must be incredibly complex.
It is, to be sure. There's so many variables, so many factors that have to be tied down. The number of things that can go wrong from the captor's side, it is an up and down process. It's never a straight line. It's never do this and you'll get that. It's a roller coaster ride. So I'm sure the family's being prepared for all kinds of alternatives and maybe delays in this coming to a conclusion.
Chip, there's still no proof of life 9 days on. For the family to be prepared to pay that ransom, they must have some indication, surely, or maybe not, that she's alive.
I would definitely agree with you. I think when we saw the latest videos that Savannah made with her 2 siblings, I think we can safely say there's been a shift. There's been a shift in how the family is now seeing this. There must be some assurances that were given. There must be something that if not a direct proof of life, it must be very close to it. That has given them sense, okay, these are the captors. They definitely have our mother and we're now willing to pay.
Let's hope it's a favourable outcome and that she is well. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Chip.